And a good morning to you. Welcome inside the Bottom Line. You are not seeing things. The three amigos are here for today, July the 3rd. And since we're going to work so hard today, we'll go ahead and just take off tomorrow. That's the way I like it.
Are we doing a 2-hour program today?
I ain't got nothing to do.
3 hours, okay.
I ain't got nothing to do. Glad to have you along anyway.
I'm good.
Glad to have you along anyway. A lot of things going on. American Legion playoffs got started. I do have a question to you because you're a baseballer. You American Legion.
Yep.
Legion ball is not what it used to be. When I looked at the playoff pairings when they announced them, I think it was it Shelby got a bye,
Cleveland County got a bye, Cherryville got a bye, and then Queen City
got a bye.
Got a bye.
But the other teams that were in there, the records were dismal, and they weren't even close to being the same amount of games because now they struggle to get enough kids to play all the way. And I know Lincoln County has struggled with that to some extent.
Yep.
So it's not the Legion ball that we remember,
No.
so to speak.
No, it's completely different. What happened is about 10, 12 years ago, the focus changed from quality to quantity. Okay, and I don't mind saying this because I talked to our area director, I talked to the state commissioner, okay, and I talked to the NECmen, which are the national representatives, both locally and in other states about this, and I was very concerned because I could see things coming that were focusing on how many people were playing instead of the quality of people that were playing. And anytime you sacrifice quality for quantity, all right, this is the likely outcome. Okay? So what they did was, and I told our post commander, the late Roy Waters, who was one of my best friends, I told him, I said, Roy, if they let another team in the county, I'm not coaching anymore. So I'm not doing this, to come out here and just have fun. And I want to coach I'm at the point in my life, my career coaching, where I want to coach the best players possible, like the Tyler Pools, all right, from Hickory, Robert Whaley's, all right, Zach Jarrett's, okay. I want to coach those guys.
Those guys went on to play college baseball too.
And a couple of them pro ball, right?
Yeah.
All right, Branson Christopher. All right, that's Hickory guys. Not talking about the St. Stephen's, Fred T. Ford, a couple of Maiden kids. All right, a couple of Bandy's kids. Bunker Hill, Jeremy Knoll, Cameron Beard. I coached some great players. And what happened was, Laney, they just started transitioning, saying we're going to let basically a team pop up anywhere it wants to. Well, when you have great players they want to play, but they want to play with other great players, serious players.
So when you say that,
yes,
then what that does is that justifies what I've always said about Legion baseball, okay? And I am not the biggest Legion baseball fan, and I'm going to explain why, and you just reinforced what I'm saying.
All right.
Legion baseball, for whatever reason, or maybe it was always this way and you just had more before the travel ball stuff came around, the all-star type stuff came around that you could do it. But Legion baseball became, we want all the teams and all the kids. This is where you should be doing. This was the old men in the Legion.
That's correct.
Instead of about the kids and about the sport.
Right.
They wanted it the way they always had. It was another one of those things that, and you know this, if you do not adapt, things change.
Right.
And if you do not adapt, then your product gets watered down and goes away because you've refused to adapt to make sure that you can maintain it at the same level that it's always done. Not to get religious on you, but I speak for the Gideons.
Yeah.
And I've been to churches that have done the same thing. Instead of saying, okay, the world has changed, the people that come have changed, we're going to do it like we did it 40 years ago because that's the only way it is, and it's not. those churches are getting smaller and
Yeah,
smaller
they're shrinking.
and will go away because they're not adapting to who you're trying to draw in. Like you're saying, if Legion had become, okay, we're going to have one Legion team in each county or something.
Yeah, or two.
Yeah.
Depending on how big
I
it
mean,
is.
Mecklenburg you could do 2.
3.
But, but some of them.
Yes, no, I understand.
You can't. But it became, I've got Legionnaires, and my Legion's going to have a team. We've always had a team. We're going to bring me 10, 12, 14 boys in here. We're going to have a team.
Yeah, that's what happened.
And it doesn't work.
That Laney, and Juju, you and I talked about this like 2 years ago, just when we were whatever, just wherever. What Legion did was a great thing 10, 12 years ago.
Correct.
They allowed 19-year-olds, not you can't turn 19 before August 1st. They allowed, if you're 19 within that calendar year, you can't turn 20, you can play Legion ball. Well, it set it up perfectly. Now you got college kids that can come back and play if they choose, a lot of them.
Versus a wooden bat league?
Yeah. All
Okay,
right.
that's an option.
Which, I'm not so sure that that's not a better option if it's done right. Okay, follow me. And then you have really good high school seniors, all right, that have committed to going to play, or some juniors that have already committed. Now you've got the talent pool, which is what I was working for the whole time I was at 48. There were several travel teams in the league. That didn't bother in the league, in the area. That didn't bother me. I was friends with the guys that were running them. My pitch to the kids was to say, look, you can go play on weekends. We very rarely play on Saturday nights. Play Sunday. I want you back Sunday night. Go play your tournament ball over the weekend if you need the exposure. Not that, I don't know quite a few people, but if you feel that's in your best interest, you need to play, I'm okay with that. On, June 23rd, though, that stops until we're done playing a month or so later. And then you can go back and resume, and I have no problem with that. So I had several kids that, did both. I monitored our pitchers to make sure. I worked with the other travel ball coaches. We were all on the same page. Jason Harris was one of them. There were several kids that could have played for me that played full-time doing that until they committed. Zach Jarrett was one of them. I'm okay. Hey, look, that's their decision. This is what we bring to the table. And I'm telling you, I may coach Legion again. I may do it again because I want to try to help resurrect it and revitalize it. I may do it again one day because I believe in the original intent of it, right, and what it stood for.
But you got to get the backing to do that. That's where the problem
I have
comes
it locally, and then I can expand from there. I can only start where I can start, right? But I've got it locally. All right, and I say me, I'm talking in Area 4, there is a lot of understanding. The problem is everything was catered to the World Series in Shelby. 7 innings, pool play instead of double elimination. They went to pool play because there's always a potential, extra game when you do double elimination. When in pool play, you know exactly. Well, the games are too long. They were 9 innings. ESPN wanted them down to 7 because of airtime and all these other things. Well, they brought it down and said, okay, now we're playing 7 innings, and we're instituting high school rules. That is not American Legion baseball. So what I'm going to do if I ever do it again is league games, we're going to play 7 innings, but if we're traveling to Asheville, we're going to play 2 games. One of them doesn't have to count in the league. The other one's not. I'm not driving to Asheville for 7 innings of baseball.
Right.
I'm not doing that. And I'm going to play now. They're doing weekend tournaments in Legion where Cherryville or Shelby, Cleveland County, will host them, or we drive to Rowan or Randolph and play teams from Florence, Sumter, Greer, Columbia, Greenville, South Carolina. Wilmington comes up and plays.
They're doing
in
what
them.
travel ball does.
Well, they're being smart about it. And
they're
let me tell you,
adapting to
Lanny,
what they need to do.
My thing is, if I was coaching at 48, Hickory, okay, I don't want any kids, and I say anyone can come out. I will evaluate a kid. I'll talk to them, let them know where I think they are, things they need to work on, things they do really well. If they're not ready to play on that team, that's okay. Hey, look, you're not ready yet. This is what I recommend you do. It's very hard to argue with that. A lot of years doing this, a lot of evaluation. It's fair, it's honest, and it's appreciated by most people. Okay? But I'm telling you, there is a way to do this in conjunction with the things that are going on, what they call showcase baseball. These kids have to be seen. The problem is the portal's messing all this up now because the Division I's, the real great teams, are not recruiting many high school kids anymore.
Right.
Unless you got, the Braxton Trammels, the Sean Jenkins, both of them out of Fred T. Ford. Sean's a 2025 guy. Braxton's graduating next year, going to East Carolina. Sean's going to East Carolina 2 years. Very likely, potentially, both of them won't ever make it to ECU. They'll, go on, through the draft. Right? They're that good. But anyway, I digress.
Well, anyway, let me catch a couple comments. Stephen, good morning. Milton, good morning. Cicely, good morning. Milton said, "Did Legion?" And Brian, good morning. Did Legion switch to the participation first?
Yes,
everyone gets to play?
That's what I'm trying to say. The answer to that is yes. Thank you for saying that.
But
100%.
But here's the deal. That's because those in charge just wanted to make sure the games happened. That's what they wanted.
Yeah, that's crazy.
That's
what you get when you do it
because they pretty well ignored everything else
Bobby,
in evaluating and deciding how we need to do this to make sure this product survives.
Completely agree. Bobby Reynolds at Cherville. They call him Bobby Dale.
Yeah.
Bobby Reynolds at Cherville. Okay. Mike Grayson, who coached in Shelby for many, many years. We all, Ron Swink, Burke County, everybody that has been around Legion ball for 30, 40, 50 years, told them, if you do this, you're going to lose teams. Area 4 used to have 18 to 22 teams. There's 13, and 13 struggling to get there.
And they all make it.
And so I had to cut some kids from a local high school one year that they were okay players, but they weren't Legion, what we call A players at that time. Well, when the dads gets upset, I understand that. Goes, well, I'm starting my own team. Well, there you go. Well, it's not fair. Okay, here we go with the fair thing. No, you didn't earn anything. You're just showing up and participating. This is what happened. I told them this is going to happen. Told them I wasn't taking any part in it. As soon as I let another team in the county, see you. That's it. Not doing it.
So Lindsay's comment was, if everyone is an all-star, then is anyone an all-star?
Well, that's the whole point. It's the difference between success and achievement, right? Do people get certain accolades because they've been doing it a long time, because they've truly done something? There's an argument for that.
You could have success but not have accomplishment.
Yeah, I mean,
because you didn't pay the price to get there.
But the definition of success is, sometimes an eye of the beholder.
Yeah.
All right.
But and I am not taking shots at Legion. I've never been the biggest Legion fan.
See, I am.
Basically,
I am the biggest fan. I am.
Basically, because
the biggest fan ever.
I never agreed with the way it was run, and now it's starting to show that because we don't want to change because we know more than everybody else. We do it different than anybody else. It doesn't work that way. You have to, there's a saying that has never changed. If you don't adapt, you will die. Yeah. Whatever it is, if you don't adapt you will die. Yeah. And so it goes that way with sports. And that's where, but it's like anything else. All of this stuff will weed itself out, because if you can't keep it to the level that it should be, that people are accustomed to, people want to pay their money. That's the other thing that so many people don't understand. You talk about how high school athletics has lost their audience. It's expensive to go to games, and sometimes people don't feel like they're getting their money's worth, and you're competing for those dollars, quote-unquote entertainment dollars. Do I want to spend a Friday night at a football game, or do I want to spend a Friday night at the movies if it's going to cost me the same thing?
Or they're going to lose even more now because they're suspending they're not taking Tar Heel passes anymore.
Yeah.
Tar Heel senior passes?
No more.
Was that the state's decision?
I don't know. I know it's a local decision.
Okay.
And I'm talking about it in Maiden.
I'll look it up and see. Look it up.
No more Tar Heel passes accepted.
Lindsay said it's how lots of pay to play, and she's exactly right, not taking shots here. Dance and cheer come to mind, are successful. They're all triple platinum all-star national champions, so who is left? I've always said I have seen national champions crowned in other sports. Well, from where I'm from, there can only be one. We only have one nation.
But you can make up your own national championship.
You make up your own association.
Okay, so what is that? Where are we today with a lot of things?
Yeah.
Everything's watered down is what you're saying.
100%.
I mean, that's basically 100%. It. Yeah.
And it's watered down because people can't accept no for an answer.
Yes, okay? That's correct.
Or you're wrong. Well, no, that's just your opinion.
And here's the other thing.
What I
I'm I'm not judging. I'm just stating fact.
Yeah,
I mean, this
yeah.
is fact. This is what happens when so many, we were talking about it before we went on the air. We were talking about golf courses that have shut down. They did the same thing. Myrtle Beach, when it had the boom, everybody was building golf courses. Yeah. Well, then it became so many, it couldn't enough people play, they decided, okay, I'm only going to play the ones that are really, really good. So the ones that were on the fringe are housing developments now because they couldn't sustain it. You've got to, as you said, you've got to have the quality. The quality has to be the first thing that's up there.
Quantity, quality.
Because you're competing for dollars.
People think you can have a bunch of numbers and then weed it down from there. What happens is you may have a bunch of numbers, but the highest quality of who's there will not stick around when the other stuff's not good.
Yeah.
That's what's happening in high school sports now.
Yeah.
And I'm not talking about, all across. I mean, but there are places where the best people are not being hired to do jobs. It's, I owe this guy this because he did so much for me, so I'm going to give him this job. He's not the best person for the job.
But it's okay to do that if it doesn't have a detrimental effect on others based on what your decision was.
And we're seeing that it does.
If you want to do something for somebody and it only affects you, that's great. Yeah. But if you're doing something that's going to have a trickle-down effect to others because of your decision and you didn't make the best decision that's going to affect everybody, then you haven't been fair. I hate to use your word fair, but you haven't been fair to the people that are trying to participate. They want a fair shot.
Yeah, they want to compete.
That's exactly right.
That's the difference.
And they got more options now than they've ever had before, and if they don't like it, they'll go somewhere else, like you said.
Right. Before I go to break, Lindsay said she is a national champion all-star in the almost 38-year-old age group at Planet Fitness in Knightsdale treadmill category.
Oh, in Knightdale, yeah, absolutely.
So there you go, because she lives in Knightdale. Take a break, back in a moment.
Whether it's a sit-down meal or a call-in for the drive-thru, Brookwood Cafe and Catering is the answer.
Oh, in Knightdale, yeah, absolutely.
There you go, because she lives in Knightdale. Take a break, back in a moment.
Grill, they have what you're looking for to satisfy your taste buds. If you need catering from 5 to 500, Brookwood has you covered as well. Stop by Brookwood Cafe and Catering at 202 Providence Mill Road in Maiden. Don't forget breakfast daily till 11 a.m. Open Tuesday 6 a.m. to 2 p.m., Wednesday through Saturday 6 a.m. till 8 p.m., and Sunday from 7 a.m. to 3 p.m. Call 828-428-8944 to place your order today.
If you ask around, you'll find Burke Mortuary has a reputation for excellence and commitment to value. They've built a reputation of trust for more than 35 years. Burke Mortuary is proud to offer personal attention, meaningful tributes, and the area's most affordable prices. They're also proud to offer you beautiful, state-of-the-art facilities. It's the perfect place to honor your loved one. So when choosing a funeral home, the choice is easy. Choose Burke Mortuary with locations in Maiden and Newton.
Covenant Church began as a vision of just over 100 people in 1984. Since then, Covenant Church has grown and currently located at 2168 Gastonia Highway in Lincoln. The Sunday schedule includes early morning worship at 8:30, Sunday school at 9:45, and morning worship at 10:45. Their ministries extend beyond Sunday. Visit their website at www.covenantchurch.church to see all they have to offer, and better yet, stop by and see for yourself. Covenant Church may be just what you're looking for a new church home. First Federal Savings Bank has been serving Lincoln County since 1940. And as it has been from the beginning, customer service is a priority to First Federal Savings Bank. They want to get to know you by name. First Federal Savings Bank has the convenience, the products, and the services that the larger banks have, but with hometown people that you see throughout your community. Stop in and visit one of their 4 convenient locations and see what First Federal Savings Bank has to offer you. Member FDIC, an equal housing lender.
Untangling your headphones, finding the right remote, saying goodbye to your favorite shirt that hasn't fit in 10 years. Why are simple things sometimes so complicated? Thankfully, with Auto Owners, insurance doesn't have to be one of them. Auto Owners works with independent agents who live in your community and answer when you call, so you can worry about more important things, like finding a new favorite shirt. That's simple human sense.
Call Mooney Insurance in Maiden or East Lincoln Insurance in Denver or visit mooneyinsurance.com. Stifel Nicholas now has an office in your community. Stifel Nicholas is a full-service organization offering a wide range of investment vehicles and services. These include money market funds, CDs, stocks, bonds, mutual funds, annuities, retirement plans, and managed accounts, to name a few. Our financial advisors will sit down with you and help you tailor an investment plan, explaining strategies and investments which may help you achieve your personal goals. Call 4Rembert today at 828-624-7300. Stifel Nicholas, member member SIPC, and the New York Stock Exchange. Welcome back. Brand new topic, hot off the press, and it's one that's going to continue to be an issue. I don't know how you fix it. I don't know how you stop it. Here again, I think it's one of those things to where, whether you like it or not, because we have changed as a society, and certain things that used to be taboo are not taboo, and we're wanting to still implement the views and regulations the way that we did before certain things were available. And what I'm talking about, we've seen a little bit of it. One of the things inside the NFL, and I'm just going to use the NFL because that's the one that's on the top of my mind for right now. We have had some players that have not as much now as it was. Some players got suspended for marijuana use, yet the city or state that you play in may be legal. So how do you handle that? It's a rule. I get it. It's a rule. It's a rule. Now the other thing that's coming up, and this is going to get worse, and this is where I really have my problem, okay, because the teams themselves, the franchises, have gotten in bed with, quote-unquote, the devil. But yet you're asking your players to do something different. And what am I talking about? I'm talking about gambling. 4 players in the NFL have been suspended for gambling violations. These are – you're not talking about really top-tier starter-type guys. You're not talking about tons of money. But they've got suspended for betting on other sports at the workplace, meaning – I go to my phone, I place a bet while I'm in the facility, has nothing to do with the NFL, then I am subject to suspension. Where I have the problem with, the hypocritical part that I don't like is those same franchises are going to wind up putting sportsbook windows in their stadium so people can bet on the game while they're there, or sit in the stands and do prop bets all through the game because they want the money. Then you got to figure out when you're going to do that, how do you – I understand rules. I get that. But I'm also one that feels like rules have to kind of make sense. And rules, you make rules so that it's a level playing field for everybody. When you do it, we talked about it in the NFL. The offensive rules or the rule changes in the NFL have benefited the offense more than the defense because they've kind of skewed the rules so that the offensive production can go up.
Yet offense was down last year in the NFL. Explain that, I wonder. Scoring was down.
I think it was lack of talent.
Okay.
I can explain it.
Okay.
All right, they're trying to transition the most important position on the field to the college game, and you can't do that.
No,
it's proved
right.
over and over again.
Yeah.
They're starting kids, younger players, that are dual threats, and that's not going to work. You're going to have lower production.
And you're throwing them in there earlier.
Right.
Without,
they're going to throw interceptions.
Which is what I'm saying. You didn't have the quality of player that you needed to
that's
maintain
what I'm saying. Why would you put in Trey Lance when you have Garoppolo? Why would you do that?
Yep. You ride him for a couple years till you think he's ready.
Why would you do that?
Yeah.
Why?
You're talking about gambling. The NFL is going to have a problem because it goes all the way back to their history. Yeah. The New York Giants, their owners, they were bettors before. I mean, they made their money at the horse tracks and the racetracks. The Maras and the Rooneys did the same thing. They owned Saratoga or a couple of other tracks. So gambling's in their blood. Yeah. I mean, it's in their family. That's how they got to become very rich and owners in the NFL. So I don't know how you're going to change that. But that's, to me, is if you're going to bet, You can't bet while you're on the property. You're in the facility.
Does that go for ownership too?
Probably it should. Yeah,
I
it
didn't
won't.
say it should.
Won't.
I'm just saying.
It won't,
that's
but-
my point. That's what I'm getting
Yeah,
at.
because the owners betting does not. When you think about a player, that maybe affects the integrity of the game. Maybe they have some inside information, and don't you know down the road, this year, next year, year after, that it's going to trickle down to the colleges when these
Yes.
gamblers they want to
Yeah.
know. Hey, I don't want to know the inside information, but is X going to be playing maybe this week? Is
Well,
XY
you're going to find what's going to happen is you're going to find colleges are going to have to do the same thing that the NFL does, and they're going to have to do these reports on injuries, who's available,
Or you got this guy who's making six figures in an NIL deal, and then you got the right tackle here that's getting nothing. And you got a gambler walks up and says, hey, wait, if you give me some information, I'll slide $100,000 your way for this information.
Mm-hmm.
It'll happen. It's happened before in the history of college sports, but it'll happen now, especially with all the money's involved.
So coaches will then start becoming in jeopardy because they're not playing certain players
Yeah.
because of all of this.
Well, look at the coach at was it Alabama, the baseball coach?
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah.
He got busted.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Made a prop bet while he was they were getting ready to play.
Insider trading, right? That's basically
That's
what
what
it is.
it is. You're
That's
right.
correct.
So,
yes.
so let's talk about this. What is our greatest issue facing, one of our great issues in our country facing equity and equality in today's world? The wealthier people are allowed through law to play by a different set of rules.
Exactly what I'm saying.
All right,
I keep trying not to use that F
There's
word.
a lot of
Fair.
and there's a lot that's deflected on saying, oh, these people over here don't like these people. If it's different at the top than it is at the bottom, it's not equitable. And I'm talking about opportunity.
And
I'm not
that's
talking about outcome.
and see that's where I've
That's the
always
problem.
been.
Well, but that's the problem, right? But it's disguised by those at the top that say these things about, well, these people over here don't like these people. They try to keep the people under them
Classed.
right.
Yeah, caste
and,
system.
and yeah, right. And keep everything stirred up there while don't pay any attention to the person behind the curtain.
I've never
This is the problem
wanted.
with gambling.
I've never wanted
Fantasy sports, fantasy is
Fantasy
the same
sports.
thing.
Well,
It's just formacy.
It's the same
fantasy started. That was the skirt around gambling till they could get it
Yeah.
fixed.
Yeah.
that's where the skirt was.
It is. And again, that's my opinion on things. I don't begrudge anybody else. People are where they are because that's truly where they want to be, or they wouldn't be there. Okay, I mean that
You're the one who has to look yourself in the mirror and go to sleep.
Well, I
at
mean,
night.
it is what it is. Okay, you can say, well, it's because of this, because of that, but it's really because that's where you want to be. If that's where you are, the only person that has the opportunity to change that is that person.
Yeah.
It's not up to anybody else. Okay.
Well, and I've said,
And you got this is where we are though, by people not accepting number one, truth, and number two, the word no. This is what has come to this. And when you don't accept truth, and you, are not able to hear the word no and survive with it, have to go over in the room by yourself and do all these things to try to clear your mind, then it skews everything. It's where it is.
I just want to make sure that the playing field is level from an opportunity standpoint.
Absolutely.
I don't want anybody put ahead, or I don't feel like you owe me something from the outcome
All
standpoint.
people want is opportunity.
I just want an opportunity.
Most
want
people.
yeah.
Most
I just want to be able to have an opportunity.
And I found a lot of times too, Lane, just looking at things, Juju, that the people that are not concerned about opportunity are the people that actually have the opportunities. They're more worried about outcomes.
Mm-hmm.
Pay to play. What people understand is, you are paying for the opportunity to do something. Number one, you don't want that opportunity taken away for no good reason. You want it presented. And then number two, whether you fail or not, it's on you.
But the other side of that is, and I got into a rub over travel sports for this reason. And this is what I said. If I am paying to be part of a travels team, okay, I am paying for training, I'm paying for an opportunity to play.
Opportunity, yes.
Okay?
You're paying for opportunity.
And I get
yes.
that. However, if the evaluation process has already been predetermined,
That's a problem.
and they need the numbers, okay,
To make the organization work. No,
that's
I'm
right.
With you. I'm with you 100%.
Because my thing was always this: and this was my argument, and if I'm wrong, I'm wrong, but this was always my argument. If a player, because all of these travel teams, the ones I've ever been associated with, were tryout, which means certain players, some kids just didn't make it.
Sure.
Okay, I always felt that if a kid made it, then they were kept because there was something they saw that was a contribution enough for them to be able to be a part of the organization, okay, that they could contribute to the team. Not just be a member of the team, but contribute to the team. And that doesn't mean a starter, but there should be a place somewhere that they're going to get to play. If there weren't, then you should have never kept them. If they weren't good enough to actually be able to compete with the other teams. Now, because I never felt like if you had a team of, let's say, 15 kids, you don't have 15 starters that can never come out.
Right.
You know?
Right.
You've got some. You got some that stay. I mean, they've got to play for you to be successful. But the other ones are interchangeable, okay? And if you're not getting an opportunity,
that's the problem.
If you're not getting an opportunity, then it doesn't work.
But that trickles up to the college sports where we're seeing now with the transfer portal.
That's right.
Somebody, they think they're getting an opportunity, but they're, for whatever reason, they've been trained in their mind that, hey, I'm not playing. I'll put my name in the portal. I'll go somewhere else.
That's right, Juju.
They're not willing to go through the process and working through and becoming, maybe going from third team to second team to eventually working your way up.
And it's about the season, right? So in summer, right, let's say summer baseball, whether it be Legion, Wood Bat League, whatever, summer baseball, not professional, summer baseball. It's about development. So you need opportunities in the summer to enhance your game, right? Just like basketball, summer basketball, you got to get in there so the coaches can appropriately measure your growth and development, give you an opportunity to fail, sometimes on multiple levels, because you're not really playing for anything other than, just being the best you can be.
Maybe if you're a rising senior in baseball?
In baseball, right.
You might you go to a showcase or something where coaches are looking at you?
Yes, but you're paying, and playing for opportunity to develop your skill set, right? Mm-hmm. Quinn didn't see any live pitching for 10 months, right? Playing in Lenore, is about the opportunity, all right, to get in there, get used to live pitching again. He's not going to go in there and hit 8 or 10 home runs, the first 50 at-bats. He's going to strike out a lot. He's going to hit some ground balls. He's going to miss some balls. He hasn't seen it. That's okay. Mm-hmm. He's got to, it's acclimation, right?
Baseball, more than any other sport, you have to deal with failure because it is
intimate.
Yeah. Yeah.
But no, you're right, and I just think there's a lot of things are being abused where the intent was to be helpful with these transfer portal rules to get, to allow kids to be able to navigate, find the best fit. That's part of the recruiting process. So they're just kind of bumping that part aside. Like Tennessee, they're in the World Series, right? They had 8 different starters on the field this year than last year's team. Last year's team was incredible. Mm-hmm. That's not the intent of the transfer portal.
No. To build super
Oklahoma
teams.
softball.
To build super teams.
Arizona State softball. Oklahoma's what best player says, I'm going home to Nebraska after winning the World Series, being what the MVP or whatever it was, MVP or whatever. I'm just going back home. No, that is not why. No, I'm just going home. I want to go home.
Hey, Phil.
Cha-ching.
Yeah.
Fine, opportunity, but that's not the point of the portal. It's not fair for Lenore Ryan, okay? Great football school, right? Baseball, doing well. Coach Ramirez, right? It's not fair for Coach Ramirez to bring Trey Jensen in this year, who'll be incoming freshman. Trey, I think, is going to be a great player,
From where?
Drone.
Okay, yeah. Okay, I remember. Okay.
I grew up with his daddy. I know both the boys. His younger brother's phenomenal player. But I think I'm using Trey as an example. I hope Yates and Tammy don't mind that. But they're two of my best friends. He's a great kid. All right. He comes in, and let's say his freshman year, all right, without putting pressure on him, he hits 18, 20 home runs. Where's he going?
Well, I mean, yeah.
Where's he going?
He'll move up to
It ain't going to be at LR.
He wants to move up to D1.
Yeah, he's going to go to Chapel Hill, or he's going to go to Clemson or South Carolina, and that's the way that these guys are recruiting now. I'm just going to wait and see what he does at the other school.
Well, I talked
Kids
to
over here at the lab, great players. I'm just going to have to wait and see what he does. Then I can go get him if I need him.
And if you talk to some coaches, they'll tell you if you want to get a transfer, you don't want to get a transfer for 1 year unless you want to get a grad transfer that fills a specific need, DH or whatever.
Yeah.
But you want to get guys that maybe have 2 years left
Absolutely.
or longer.
Yeah.
So then maybe you can develop them if they're coming from a junior college
That's
as opposed
development is different.
Yeah.
So this is what Division II, III, NAI, and JUCO guys. JUCO's always been this way. They've got a choice to make. Coach Gann at Catawba, he's a winner. He develops his kids when he brings them in from day one. The coach at Wingett's the same way.
Yeah.
All right. Develops his kids and they stay. That's the way it used to be. Now, you come in, you develop that kid who hit 2 or 3 home runs in high school. 2 years later, he's hit 25. He's gone. Gone. You have to decide. Am I going to stick to what I used to do? All right, and say, hey, if I recruit you, you're coming here, and I'm not recruiting anybody else for that position.
Let me give you a couple comments. I'm going to take a break, and then so many things have come in. But since we're on down this rabbit hole, Phil said when money is on the line, it brings about rigging. And it does because of different situations that we don't know about when it comes to players, like you were talking about, the third-string tackle that's not getting NIL money. And Phil said coaches are no longer loyal, which Lindsey followed up by saying neither are players. And that's right. Everybody's looking out for them.
Yeah, sure.
Okay. Phil suggests establish farm, minor league, football, basketball, etc., return to scholar athletes. That's what's going to happen. When you get away from the power players in Division I, you're going to find that you're going to return more to what we know and what we appreciate as college athletics, because they're going to separate themselves, and they should, because right now, because there's no separation, there's no designation between the two, they're dragging everybody else down because they're cherry picking what they want and how they want to do it.
I read a story in The Athletic over the weekend, and it was a what if. All this money that Saudi Arabia has and is, poured into the Live Tour, what's next for them? Do they put it into college athletics maybe? Mm-hmm. Do they start these collectives and give millions of dollars to these collectives, to schools? Mm-hmm. How will that change the landscape of college sports?
100%.
I mean, if I'm an athletic director and my number one worry is not getting kids in and getting them graduated, my number one worry is making the budget.
How do I keep my job?
Raising money, fundraising, and making sure my budget's okay, and upgrading facilities. Well, if I know I'm getting millions of dollars from a collective that's being funded by Saudi Arabians, do I take that money?
Okay,
if you don't, somebody else will.
Money comes from two places: loyalty and fundraising, or it comes from someone that has an agenda.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah, going to buy influence.
Two places.
Yeah.
All right, so that's the dilemma. When did you move to North Carolina, like as a college student? What year did you come down here?
1979.
Okay, so what is the greatest difference between 79 and 92 that you saw in this area? What happened in this area?
Between 79 and 1992?
Yeah, 92 is a good example about what happened in this area as far as the dynamics of how people worked and what they did for a living. What changed?
They lost the furniture market.
Right.
And a lot of jobs changed.
They're gone.
Yeah.
All right. So you have now children of these parents that worked in these mills. in these furniture markets that were loyal for 30 years to that job. And all of a sudden, one day, it's gone to Mexico. It's gone to overseas.
China,
it's gone to Canada. It doesn't matter, but it's gone. Why would those kids say, I'm going to be loyal to that entity over there? Because what people are finding out is just like schools. Schools don't care about people. I hear people say, like locally, I love Maiden High School. Maiden High School does not care about you. It's the people who are in the building that run it, all right, that determine the experience of the people in the community. Using it because it's local. I can do that. I live here, okay? When you have a group of kids, and now another generation after that saw their parents lose everything, opportunity, why would they not go seek it and not be loyal? Because of what these people that were supposed to care about their parents and the parents' loyalty did to them at a whim. Most of them moved, didn't even tell the people. They just shut the doors.
We're going to go down.
That's what we're seeing right here.
We can go down a deeper rabbit hole on that, so just hang on. Back in a minute.
Whether it's a sit-down meal or a call-in for the drive-thru, Brookwood Cafe and Catering is the answer. A variety of meats, vegetables, and desserts cooked daily, or a hot sandwich from the grill, they have what you're looking for to satisfy your taste buds. If you need catering from 5 to 500, Brookwood has you covered as well. Stop by Brookwood Cafe and Catering at 202 Providence Mill Road in Maiden. Don't forget breakfast daily till 11 a.m. Open Tuesday 6 a.m. to 2 p.m., Wednesday through Saturday 6 a.m. till 8 p.m., and Sunday from 7 a.m. to 3 p.m. Call 828-428-8944 to place your order today.
If you ask around, you'll find Burke Mortuary has a reputation for excellence and commitment to value. They've built a reputation of trust for more than 35 years. Burke Mortuary is proud to offer personal attention, meaningful tributes, and the area's most affordable prices. They're also proud to offer you beautiful, state-of-the-art facilities. It's the perfect place to honor your loved one. So when choosing a funeral home, the choice is easy. Choose Burke Mortuary with locations in Maiden and Newton.
Covenant Church began as a vision of just over 100 people in 1984. Since then, Covenant Church has grown and currently located at 2168 Gastonia Highway in Lincoln. The Sunday schedule includes early morning worship at 8:30, Sunday school at 9:45, and morning worship at 10:45. Their ministries extend beyond Sunday. Visit their website at www.covenantchurch.church to see all they have to offer, and better yet, stop by and see for yourself. Covenant Church may be just what you're looking for a new church home. First Federal Savings Bank has been serving Lincoln County since 1940. And as it has been from the beginning, customer service is a priority to First Federal Savings Bank. They want to get to know you by name. First Federal Savings Bank has the convenience, the products, and the services that the larger banks have, but with hometown people that you see throughout your community. Stop in and visit one of their 4 convenient locations and see what First Federal Savings Bank has to offer you. Member FDIC, an equal housing lender.
Untangling your headphones, finding the right remote, saying goodbye to your favorite shirt that hasn't fit in 10 years. Why are simple things sometimes so complicated? Thankfully, with auto owners, insurance doesn't have to be one of them. Auto Owners works with independent agents who live in your community and answer when you call, so you can worry about more important things, like finding a new favorite shirt. That's simple human sense.
Call Mooney Insurance in Maiden or East Lincoln Insurance in Denver, or visit mooneyinsurance.com. Stifel Nicholas now has an office in your community. Stifel Nicholas is a full-service organization offering a wide range of investment vehicles and services. These include money market funds, CDs, stocks, bonds, mutual funds, annuities, retirement plans, and managed accounts, to name a few. Our financial advisors will sit down with you and help you tailor an investment plan, explaining strategies and investments which may help you achieve your personal goals. Call 4Rembert today at 828-624-7300. Stifel Nicholas, member SIPC and the New York Stock Exchange. Welcome back. Mr. Rembert is refreshing his Mountain Dew stash. He'll be right back with us here in just a moment. I promise I won't do anything without him. I don't want him to miss a thing. There you go. Oh, it's a two-fister. He's got a two-fister today. He's got two do's. What a guy. A two-do guy. That's amazing. That's impressive. All right, so I want to go back to my question that I had before, and we kind of discussed it there for just a minute. Lindsay said hiring budgets are often larger than retention budgets, and that's true. I've always said that if you want to raise, the easiest way to get a raise is to quit and come back, because they'll pay you more money to come back than they'll pay you to keep you. And I've seen it done. I've seen it done over and over in multiple industries. So I guess what we were talking about off the air, and we were talking about when is it right for the entity that's brought someone in, and then for that person that's been brought in, if they improve, to move on if it's a better opportunity for them. Okay, my thing is I'm completely okay with the moving on and the moving on sooner, as long as everybody understands when I come into the situation that that's the way it's going to be evaluated. And I'll give you my example. You were just talking about it. You were talking about the kid that pitched for the Crawdads this weekend.
Oh, yeah.
When you're playing 1A baseball, it's not about winning championships. It's about development and moving up the chain. One of the reasons I struggle with going to watch Crawdads baseball, because I've been to games and watched them dominate, and then they lose it in the last two innings because they got to get some pitcher of work. Got to get a pitcher some work. Now, the manager's doing what he's charged to do, which is develop these kids and get them on through the system.
Evaluate the talent, right?
That's correct.
Yeah.
So my question is, in the way that I say all that to kind of form this up, if I know going in that by going to this Division II program, let's just say, or a lower Division I program, I have chosen to go there not because I really think we're going to win a championship there, but this program, this coach, this entity has a track record of making people better and helping them to advance their players to the next level so those players have the opportunity, okay? Most of the time it's the other way. A coach, as Lindsay was saying and Milt was saying, no loyalty on the coaches and no loyalty on the players. I don't like it when you paint a different picture but your agenda, your motive is completely different, okay? And nobody's on the same page. I go back to the example with, and I cannot remember the quarterback, when Trevor Lawrence came in to Clemson, and Dabo made a decision before the cutoff day.
Kelly Bryant.
Yeah.
Dabo made the decision and went to Kelly Bryant and said, look, he's going to play over you, but I don't want you to be penalized. You can play somewhere else, and I will give you your release so that you're not stuck here. I thought that was a first-class move. It's the ones that don't do that that bother me, because I have no trouble with opportunity. I have no trouble with moving as long as everybody that's involved with the situation understands the situation that they're in and not taking advantage of.
This is what happened my freshman year at East Carolina. So I go down for my recruiting visit for baseball. We really like the way you play. You play hard. You know, you can move, you can run, you play outfield really well. All right? We believe you will continue to hit, and we will provide you an opportunity to play. Okay, this is great. So it's between going there and going to play for Jack Leggett at Western. Wow. Life could be drastically different, right? So I got to ECU. There's 15 freshmen, 9 outfielders. They didn't tell me that when I went down there for my visit. This is a product of what you're seeing today of bad habits and people hoarding players.
And Dabo's been known to do that too.
Okay. Yeah,
but those players make that up. They make that decision because they know what he produces.
But they may not know that they've got 8 other people.
Yeah.
That's my point.
Yes.
Now, listen, anything that happens, it's on me. It's my fault. I don't care what it is.
You made the decision.
All right.
But you do want to make sure you got all the facts before you make that decision.
But see, I didn't know to do that.
Yeah.
Should I have done that? Yes, but I didn't know.
Yeah. You're
So
a kid.
it's still my fault because I'm responsible for me.
Stop taking responsibility for your actions.
Okay. It's on me.
You should
But
not be doing it.
this
That's
is
not the
where
way we
part
do
of
things
this
today.
rules has come from, the bending of them and changing of them because of hoarding players. So other teams can't get them and compete against us. They can delete the talent pool out there against them by keeping them there. That was what was happening in some of the cases.
Yeah. And then as a maybe, let's say a wedge or a fudge against that, why don't they drop the number of scholarships? Now, baseball, I mean, they haven't increased the scholarship level in baseball.
11.7
Yeah.
in Division I.
So in football, for instance, why don't they drop the number of scholarships? If this kid's going to get a scholarship
Exactly.
and he's getting NIL money, why still have 85?
Don't need 100. Yeah, don't need 100. And
but you're talking about decisions when you and I, where all of us were in our 20s,
Right.
or in our late teens.
Yeah, oh yeah.
We didn't make as good of decisions then as we might do now.
And we're not supposed to, right?
yeah,
Because you have to be immature before you're mature.
Yeah.
But see, this is the gap. To your point, this is the gap that is taking place right now or not taking place in society is everything is style versus substance. Bring all these players into Tennessee this year that haven't done anything. They just went there, and now they go to the World Series. Style is quick. It is not lasting, right? Substantive. Mark Marquis at Stanford, a baseball coach for a long, long time. Bring the players in, develop them, go to the College World Series, have a chance to win it. Many coaches, Augie Garrido at Texas. I'm talking baseball-wise, okay? This is what Nick Saban does at Alabama. He brings the kids in, and he develops them. That's what he does.
Here's another example, and I know this is maybe not the best example, but because I follow lacrosse more than I ever did in my whole life because LR won a national championship, Notre Dame won the lacrosse Division I title this year. Their coach has been there 35 years,
yes.
and he won his first championship this year.
Right.
I mean, you talk about somebody that wants to develop kids and stay.
That's right.
You don't think he didn't get an opportunity to go somewhere else? But 35 years now, Notre Dame obviously is Notre Dame.
Right. I know what you're saying, though. Yeah.
But
Well, I use
That's
the example of Joe Reich at Wingate.
yeah, that's another great example.
The program that he has built and developed there, I'm sure he's had opportunities, but he likes what he's doing. He likes the level he's doing it on, and I get that. Phil gave a great example here. He said, choosing from 40-plus offers, it originally looked like Santana Fleming would be picking SEC or ACC. Once tied to multiple Power 5 programs like Auburn, Louisville, Mississippi State, the four-star receiver has chosen to take his talents to Western in the FCS. Goes back to what we've said before. Do you want to be part of the pool at this level, or do you want to be the person in that pool that everybody's chasing after at this level? You decide.
Well, as soon as his numbers are good, he's out of Western, right? And I think that's to the point of what he, eventual point of what.
But he's
what
making that
here.
decision
Sure
because he thinks it's the best for him. Now,
it's going to be his biggest payday.
and the other side of it is, as long as everybody is aware of that, and maybe even to the coach's side, Coach, I'm not sure I'm ready for that. I'd like to play at that level, but I think you offer me the best opportunity
For the most money down the road.
to get better at what I do.
Sure.
And let the coach know up front, I may leave in the portal depending upon how things go, but that doesn't mean I'm going to give you any less.
No, he's not. He's going to give him his absolute best. And they got a quarterback to throw the ball to him.
Right.
Now, guess what? He's going to get paid to go somewhere where now, 4-star, you'll get a little money, couple 300 maybe. And people say, that's a lot of money. No, it's not. After taxes, no, it's not. No, it's not. No, it's not. All right. So you got to have failure along the way in order to have sustainable success. That's why all this stuff is the flash in the pants, and people are going to start losing interest because people like their programs and stay loyal to them over the years, right?
Yeah.
You are a wonderful example of that, playing somewhere, staying with them all these years, doing these things. You are there, right? You've seen the process. You've seen what it means. You've seen good times. You've seen maybe not so good times, and you stuck in there because you always want it to be better at LR. Always. You're that voice of reason, optimism, and hope. No, I'm serious.
I'm about voice of
I'm
reason,
being
but
serious. Optimism and hope, right? It keeps it coming, right? What's happening right now is, well, let's see who has the best all-star team this year. People are going to stop following that because it's not sustainable. Because it's who can out-recruit who of the players that are already in school. That's not recruiting. That's just great players getting together and winning a championship. And while you celebrate that, that's not really anything to celebrate. You're supposed to, if you're great players, develop players that ended up winning championships. That's something to celebrate. The kid like Phil McConkey, the kid like that's such a great player that came out of Clemson that was a great baseball player, probably the best baseball player at Clemson that didn't play, the shorter receiver that plays at Oakland.
Yeah.
Hunter Renfrow.
Hunter Renfrow.
Okay, and again, I'm just throwing names.
Yeah.
The kid that plays for the Rams that is the great receiver, number 10, who did him get a college scholarship offer. Yeah. All right.
Is that Cooper Kupp?
Yes, Cooper.
Kupp, yeah.
These are the great examples of development and perseverance that attract people long term to things. This other stuff is going by the wayside. It's not exciting anymore. You're going to see more people being loyal to Division II programs and 3 in NAIA schools because they don't really have to deal with a whole lot of this, and they can focus on getting that kid in and make sure that kid stays loyal. And you're going to see the loyalty thing flip back around.
Everything's cyclical.
Right. And you're going to see it flip back around. The kid's saying, I'm coming to play for you, and I'm going to play my tail off, and I'm going to be a model student and a model citizen, and this is what I want. These are the things I talked to my son about before he decided to commit to Mars Hill. There were other opportunities that were going to come, but that was the right opportunity. Mm-hmm. So we'll see.
Well, it's an ever-changing world. There's no doubt about that, and that's what I'm saying. In any sport, in any entity, business, sports, whatever, if you do not adapt, you can't make it. Yeah. You can't. I think when I've listened to some of the interviews that Saban has done lately, you know how he got mad, him and Jimbo got into it with Texas A&M about the money and that kind of stuff. The problem is this is my take. The problem with Saban is he's always done it. He's always been able to be on top, and now people are catching him, and he don't like it. And that's I think that's part of what's happening on that level is I don't think there's anything, and I've said this before, there's nothing new going on in the college sports world with the NIL money and stuff. It's just on top of the table now. And now you've got people that are putting more into it because they can, but it can't last because you can't continue to pay to get these players and such. It just doesn't.
Especially if so many of them do not pan out.
That's right. That's right.
Or if they're promised, hey, you're going to get this X amount of deal, and all of a sudden something happens and they're not playing very well, they yank that offer right off the table.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's the other thing, Juju. So it's basically paid for potential to start off with, and then it's paid for output after that.
But pros have always been that way. Now they did change it. They did change it when they adjusted and they did the rookie salary salary.
Right.
Because people were losing their shirt, throwing all this money at them, but yet it didn't pan out. But they were throwing the money at them because they were a top 10 pick.
Sure.
And the other thing that's happened when you talk about the league that just drives me nuts, especially from a quarterback standpoint, it becomes, well, it's his time to get paid. Okay? He's the next quarterback that gets a new contract. The last contract was this. Well, he's not anywhere close to the guy that got that contract.
Who's driving that, though?
He's the next one up.
Exactly.
Agents.
Yeah.
Exactly.
The agents are.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And see, I don't think representation's a bad thing, right?
No.
I think, but I do think that in the end, the people that actually pay the money are the most responsible, not those trying to receive the money, because they agree in the end to do it. You are where you are because it's truly where you want to be.
The problem is you wind up kind of go back to the initial days of steroids. Mm-hmm. You had players that were doing them that didn't want to do them, but they weren't doing anything to the guys that were doing them. and they were getting all the money and getting all the playing time. So it was like, if I'm going to compete, I have to do this. And it happened, NFL happened in baseball, happened everywhere. And it's kind of the same thing. Nobody wanted to take a stance and say, look, we can't let this keep going because it's going to be our downfall if we do. And so they kept letting it go until the public outcry became such that they had to shut it down. I've always said I don't
think anybody gives a flip in football if someone's on steroids. I really don't. Now, baseball, it's a different thing because all this history and everything, but football, I don't think fans give a hoot.
But that's all changed now because the numbers are so skewed anyway.
Yeah.
Now, but here's the thing.
Right.
I mean, performance enhancers, you're taking that in football so you can get back on the field.
So there's a difference between steroids and growth hormone.
That's correct.
Oh, yeah.
But but the general population that wants to get in discussion, like all of us, a lot of times we repeat things we've heard, not because we're informed on it, but because that's what we've heard and we're just saying the things that we've heard. There's no really proof that we have. We really can't prove the point. We're just saying what everybody else says. That's the problem with a lot of narratives and topics in today's world. There's no truth behind them. It's just if you say it enough, then it becomes true because enough people are saying it.
Right.
Right? You know, there's I have several questions about things that are going on around the world. Like, you know, forget about the ice caps. Why are seas not rising? Because all these rivers got water going into the ocean every day. I'm not saying things aren't what they are, you know, whatever. I just have questions on things. People just repeat things that they hear. They really don't know, right? And I have a lot of questions about a lot of things.
Well, sometimes, like when you talk about sports, sometimes rules are created, okay? They are created not because you need them or you understand the need for the rule. You're creating a rule because you don't understand it, and you're trying to stop it.
So let me ask you this. Why does college football, because of zone read and inside and outside zone, everything is, you know, in basically the two-play system, you know, run-pass option. You know, you're either going to hand it, run out in the corner, throw it, or take off and run. So it's a triple threat, right? Why do college defenses not have rules in place that say, well, you can only have this many people on this side of the ball? They do it in baseball. Baseball is the only sport right now of football, basketball, or baseball that is contracting. They've taken the draft down to 20 rounds. They've gotten rid of a ton of minor league teams.
They're going to probably get rid of more, too.
They're going to, Juju, because they can have little independent leagues come up all over the place, Frontier, all these things, and look at player development that way, all right? And besides, they're going to metrics and not playing the games. Exit velocity, launch angle, spin ratio, and how hard do they throw. They're getting away from the substance of the game and looking at the style points and using science behind it to prove a point, when in all actuality, things are doing this.
Well, but that's
Football's the exact opposite, so is basketball.
That's
Those
what
are
I'm saying.
expanding around the world and locally.
That's what I'm saying.
Baseball is doing this.
But it's because it's because they – how do I put this? Baseball wanted to do something different to make it more exciting instead of sticking with that's one of the things that, as I've said, adapt or die.
Why keep a hitting chart, Lenny, if
Right.
the defense – like if I'm coaching a team, baseball team, I should be able to put my 8 players in fair play anywhere I want to. Major League Baseball did a major disservice to the long-term nature of the game to try to get a short-term reach.
But
it is a style versus substance
right,
issue.
but the problem to me is the teams had changed the way they wanted to play the game.
That's okay.
Like right now.
That's okay.
But they from a purist standpoint.
It's okay, though, because it goes back when you stick to the fundamentals of baseball. Defense, baseball is one of the few games ever where the defense controls the ball.
But now everything has become strikeout or home run.
That's what I'm saying.
There's no baseball inside that.
How do you eliminate that? How do you eliminate that? You have pitchers that focus on throwing the ball down and away, all right, which will create a lot of walks, which keeps balls from being what? Hit out of the park or strikeouts. The next thing you do is you put these 6 guys or 7 guys on this side of the bag. So when that guy stands up there and he's this mighty pull hitter that he rolls over everything, and then you catch it and you throw his rear end out at first base. Or you catch the looping fly ball. That's how you fix it. You don't say, hey, you can't adjust your defense because of the way this guy hits. Okay? We got to play the game because it's important that he gets to hit home runs.
Right.
That is friggin' ridiculous. I can fix that in 20 games in Major League Baseball. You play against me, they'll fire me or have me hit and killed. I'm kidding. They'll get me out of the game before they let that happen, because what I would do is, that's fine, you're not hitting the ball at the park. We're going to walk 50 guys. I don't care. You can fix this. The managers and players can fix it. The problem is the money. That's the problem. And it's a short-term problem, not a long-term problem.
But the key to what you said there is you've got to want to fix it. We don't have people in charge that want to fix it. We're just, okay, if it's what people want to see, this is what we're going to do.
The problem is the word fix. They're fixing it to their advantage.
Right, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, it's not being fixed for the development and the continued growth of the game. That's why it is doing this. They had to go to a pitch clock. They had to.
You know what they
They
say?
had guys up here, doing the Hail Mary and going drawing stuff in the dirt. And hell, they're doing math. 2 + 2 is not 4, it's 12. It's crazy.
But that's what I've said.
You know how you get rid of that?
Baseball did not police itself because they could have taken this and
absolutely.
did it.
Well, the DH is part of the problem. I like the DH, but it's part of the problem because the pitcher can go up there and do anything he wants. It has no repercussions when he stands up there with the bat in his hand. There's a yin and a yang. They're taking the yang out of all of it. And so it's causing imbalance.
Well, I don't like carrying 753 pitchers either.
Well, I don't.
No, it's not that many, but I saw some numbers
Well,
over
751.
Halfway point of the season. Batting averages, you got the changes in the rules this year. Batting averages, the average hitter now in baseball is averaging 248. Mm-hmm. Last year was 244.
Yeah, right.
The home runs are about the same. Stolen bases are up.
Yep.
Scoring is about the same.
About even, right?
Yeah.
I thought it's
It's not that, but the major difference is games are about 18 to 20 minutes shorter.
There's less time for reflection. There's less time for shenanigans.
Yeah.
And all these antics. But that pitcher's not near as effective when the bat's in his hand.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
Okay? So a lot of this is self-induced. Why do they have a DH? I don't want to see a pitcher hit. Nah. You won't be able to manipulate and try to control the game on the mound with certain pitchers. You think Pedro Martinez would have done some of the things that he did if he had a bat in his hand? The answer is no. Because you wouldn't do some of the – well, I can't – I'm not picking on him. But let's say some things that you shouldn't do as a pitcher, throwing it, this, that, or the other. And that bat in your hand, you kind of think about how you're going to throw that ball in there. You do.
I don't know what batters are worried about. They got arm bands, elbow bands. They got everything covered up.
Yeah. They look like, what is it, cricket. Yeah. Now they got all these shin guards and all this stuff on to get up there and hit with cricket. Awesome.
They remind me of Kevin Costner in Tin Cup when he was trying to fix the yipes.
Yeah.
And he had all that equipment on him, trying to look at different things.
Yeah.
Phil says, I'm waiting for the day I can flip the channel and not seeing an RPO and variation of a 3-4 defense.
Well, who said that?
Phil.
Okay, yeah. So I don't mind, the different plays, in how things are, right? What I don't like is the narrative of a lot of younger modern coaches, okay, that say, well, that stuff's old. Can't do that anymore. The game's changed. North Duplin beat Reidsville this year, doing what's been done in football since the day it started. They lined up, they mashed them in the mouth, and they kept the ball out of their hands. Was it exciting? When they held the trophy up that said 2A state football champions, it didn't say split. It said 2A state football champions 2022. That was exciting. So, to the point, what we got to do, all right, is start getting back to the wow factor. That's great, but let's move on. It's like seeing all these announcements. I'm so blessed that I've earned this, this, and this. When I was a kid, kids got beat up for bragging on themselves. Today, I'm not saying you should beat anybody up. That's not. I'm just giving differences, please. Follow me here. For all the people out there that have feelings issues, just follow what I'm saying, okay? Today, it is expected for that kid to talk about how many offers they got, what they got here, because it's about getting it out. You're branding yourself. Well, you might be branding yourself, but in the wrong way for sustainability and long term, because you have to fail on the way to success. And there's stages in life you have to go through, and when you don't fully complete a stage, you can move on to the next one, but at some point you'll revert back to it till you complete it and then move on. Mm-hmm. That's normal progression, right? So now we're starting to get things back to where they were, because 20 years ago, 15 years ago, the grandparents were always the ones that were looked at as the hierarchical standard in the family. Then the parents, and then the grandkids. The grandkids wanted to be like their parents and grandparents. That got flipped with technology. Now all of a sudden you had grandparents wanting to do Snapchat and do all these things that the kids were doing. Now things are starting to work back in sync with the next generation, where now kids are wanting to be like their parents again, but not like their grandparents. Grandparents still trying to be like their kids. Now you're going to start seeing it shift. When it does, things will start going back in order. This is a societal shift that happens every, 200-300 years?
As I said.
You said it's cyclical.
Cyclical. Everything
This has just been a long cycle.
The problem that most people don't understand, there's really nothing new in the world.
No.
It just comes back around. We just haven't done it in a while, and it seems like it's new, but it's really not. Go back to your point with the water. Widen the rivers, and the oceans.
I just threw something out there.
No. But scientifically, there's no new matter. Okay, matter has been here forever.
No, I understand.
But what I'm saying, there's nothing new. You just rehash it and recreate it.
Right.
But it's the same thing.
In the aggregate,
and it becomes feels. That's a key word right there. Phil said trendy. That's what everything is now.
It makes things exciting. Yeah. It's new. All this NIL money, it's new, we're going to get this kid. You think that stuff's going to be happening in 10 years? People are going to be like, this is old. I'm not giving my money out anymore to get this kid in.
That's right.
What does it matter?
When it doesn't
Why would I do this?
And especially when it doesn't pay off.
And I think it's great. New things are great. Yeah. Technology, traditions, all these things that are reinvented, that's okay. But the problem is when we're masking truth.
You're not telling the whole story.
Yes. Yeah. And the intent of what's being done.
Yeah.
That's where the problem comes in. And then it just takes care of itself.
With everything. Have a great Monday. Happy 4th of July. We'll see you when we see you. Bye now.